Wagwan, it's your boy Jack Slack, and it's cold season, so I sound sexier. But it's also the dead season in fighting. The UFC are taking the longest break they've taken in like a decade, I think. Supposedly as they prepare to really ramp things up for Paramount, and then you look at what they did their thing where all the UFC accounts post, the boss is coming on later to make a huge announcement. And I went to sleep, and I woke up, and the announcement was Israel Adesanya versus Joe Pyfer, main event, at some fight night. Alexa Grasso versus Macy Barber 2, which I can't even remember that they fought the first time. But that was it. That was the big announcement. And the universal agreement in the comments, once you scroll past all the fake blue check accounts, was, damn, this sport's cooked. This league is cooked. And Dana White is just giving interviews where he very clearly doesn't give a shit anymore. So we got another 10 days until UFC 324 Gaethje versus Pimblett. And then the next week after that, we got UFC 325 Volkanovski versus Lopez 2. No one asked for this. But at least on those cards, there's some decent stuff. Because I was looking at the 2025 schedule. And someone pointed this out to me on the Slackies. They said, did you notice that everyone's of the year awards only contain things after about June? 2025, go back and look at the first 4 or 5 months of events. Absolutely dreadful. The only notable thing that happened was Pereira losing to Ankalaev, and that was because he'd fought like 4 times in the last 10 months. So not going to go super long today, because there's not an awful lot to talk about, aside from slagging off that UFC announcement, but I will do some questions, because I asked for your questions, and you brought them. And I just realised I probably have to plug it here, but I've been, as the kids say, on one. On the 6th, I wrote Year of the Spinning Back Elbow, which not enough of you have read. Go and read that. Talking about why spinning back elbows suddenly became a huge thing in 2025. Then, a few days ago, I did How Yuki Yosa Outstruck Superlek on the YouTube channel, and that did numbers. As someone who doesn't really commit too hard to try and chase numbers on the YouTube, it was quite nice that did well. And then I did a follow-up, How Yuki Yosa Outstruck Superlek Part 2, Calf Kick Boogaloo, which I also uploaded to YouTube a couple of days later. So it's been a fun few days. The downside, of course, was that the first one did really well, and then the second one I had a cold for, and everyone went, what the hell happened to your voice? But luckily there were some real knowledgeable slacky heads there to jump in and go, yeah, that's what it sounds like when he gets a cold. Which happens once every 5 months probably. Didn't used to happen all the time. I've been rolling around with miscellaneous unks with groups of other men for 15 years, but never that bad. All that happens is that I get sore throat and low voice. So I'm on the Lemsip. I've got the hot tea here. You're supposed to drink black tea because the milk fucks you up with mucus or whatever, but I'm not adhering to that. A regular Earl Grey with a big dollop of semi-skimmed milk in. And let's have a look at some of your questions. George says, oi, oi, Jack. Who are some good examples of body jabbers in any combat sport? From ours, MMA, I always say Junior Dos Santos because he broke heavyweights with body jabs. But now there's someone in heavyweight boxing doing that, Caballero, who fought a couple of days ago. I was doing the thing where I'm like, where the hell is so-and-so? And then I find out they're fighting that weekend. Just some randomer. He fought a dude with an 89-inch reach. Can you imagine fucking boxing Manute Bol? But he broke him down and he got the stoppage in round 3. But it was a squeamish ref jumped in the middle. But it looked like he was going to do him pretty badly, as he was expected to. Caballero, I said it before, but he's kind of the dark horse of the heavyweight division. Anyone who sees him goes, damn, he's good. And I would love to see him against Usyk, but he just doesn't have the name value at the moment. But he's just also a weird dude. I think he lost a competitive decision to Chisora way back, 10 years ago. And that should have been the moment where everyone went, oh, he's legit. bounce back with a fight against another good fighter and start climbing the ranks. And he went back to Germany and just fought a load of jobbers. And then he turned up again to fight Zhang Jilei, Big Bang Zhang, in his last fight, who is a monster. He was the guy everyone was avoiding. He's 6'7", he's a southpaw, and he hits like a fucking brick house. And Caballel did him in like 6 rounds, made him quit with bodywork. And then he took a year off and fought a nobody again. You just go, what are you doing with your life? But his body jab is sensational. And he uses his body jab in a way that I quite like, where, you know, you watch Junior Dos Santos, he'd leap in with like a fencer's jab, lunge into the body. And then if they threw back, he'd try and overhand across the top or whatever. But Caballel will do like a close-up combination, end with the left hook on the guard, and then he'll drop his weight and jab through their body by like a foot. And it really wears on guys. I saw Andy Cruz do it the other day. Actually, I was watching his fight with that Japanese lad, whose name I can't remember off the top of my head. Andy Cruz, Cuban amateur standout, classic Cuban story. No professional sports in Cuba, so he came to the US. And in like I think he's had 5 professional fights, and he's about to fight for the world title. Obviously enormously talented, but he'll do the same thing. He'll throw a combination, and then he'll end with a body jab, punching down on the guy's body. I think one of the things that I like about it is that if you commit to it, I think maybe if you do it squeamishly, you know, you're lowering your level, you're dropping your hands, they're going to punch across the top. But if you do it with some force, you're physically pushing them back. And I mentioned it before on Twitter. I said Caballel beats these guys just by poking their body. You know, he has a great right uppercut, left hook to the body, which is like his big power combo. But he'll also just throw a combination against the gloves and end with either like a right straight that is basically a poke or a left jab to the body. And those add up so quickly. And I tweeted that, and Josh Barnett came in and said, yeah, when I had my bare knuckle fight, which was really fun, I wish they'd made a whole sport out of that rule set that they did in KSW just for that one fight. But he said I did the same thing in that fight and tired the guy out just by remembering to go boop on the end of every combination. Now, of course, you have to be aware of your defense, because otherwise you're going to get caught when they start swinging back. But that is a secret to wearing people out. Who else has got a good body jab? I was quite enjoying, you know, in rewatching a load of Yuki Yosa stuff, because I always am, but especially for this, finding clips for this, these 2 little video study things I did. Film rooms, but I didn't put film room in the name because that seems to kill it in the algorithm. But he'll do, one of his big entrances is raising his left knee, jumping in and landing with the left hook. And he did it a lot to Asahisa. He did it a couple of times to Superleg, but he does it a lot. And in a couple of his fights, like is it Aaron Clark, the Irish lad he beat up? He'll jump in behind his lead leg, the old Toby Comey, raise the lead leg, jump in, land with the left hook, and then he'll go body jab and come up with a combination of hands. So body jab, uppercut, left hook, or body jab, left hook to the body, and then a right low kick to end it off. But it was a nice way to get the body jab in a sport where everyone's kicking the legs all the time. Because if you want a point score with the body jab in a kicking sport, you're probably going to take a kick to the back of the knee. Pereira used to do it a lot in kickboxing. I say a lot. He was the only guy really doing it in kickboxing, and he would do it occasionally. Enough that you'd go, oh, that's a Pereira move, but he often didn't get a lot out of it. I think Zach Moicasa knocked a guy out with a jab to the solar plexus in Glory once. But Ray Robinson and Sugar Ray Robinson, to give him his full legal title, and Floyd Mayweather are 2 of the best ever, and both of them really valued the body jab. Sugar Ray Robinson used to walk backwards and lead people onto it, and the way that he played his left hook with his body jab was sensational. You know, we talked about how he always he in his autobiography, he talked about being taught to stand in front of the mirror to shadow box and make sure you can always see down the barrel of the gun, which is very antithetical to a lot of modern boxing, which is gloves up. Where he learned it, it was gloves pointing at the opponent. But when you have that, you can go between body jab and head jab by changing levels at the knees. Not a big difference in movement. And you can change levels at the knees and come up with a left hook and leap in. And that's how he got so many guys with basically a lead left hook. And Floyd did the same thing to a degree. But both of them like the body jab because it stopped people in their tracks. Like Floyd Mayweather versus Diego Corrales absolutely beats him down with the body jab. And it sets up coming up to the head with the left hook.